Well, hello and thank you for joining me for another Alex on Tech and iTWireTV interview. Today I'm joined by Geoff Schomburgk. He's the Vice President for Australia, New Zealand at Yubico. Welcome to the program.
Thanks so much, Alex. Good to see you again.
Great to have you here again. Now, we're in 2023, but 2022 obviously was a great year, and there's some big news we're going to talk about in a moment. So, can you just give us a quick refresher or recap on Yubico's success?
Right. Well, probably if we just focus, the company's been around for a while, as you know, but last year some really good successes, both locally here in Australia and globally within the Yubico world. Probably one of our biggest successes was with the tech companies. A company called Amazon bought a very large number of keys for us and has been a great reference. And then Microsoft. Really pushing the boundaries with FIDO2 and phishing resistant. And what we'll talk about today is how Apple is now on that journey as well. And we're super excited just to see that. I talk a lot about supply and demand, and on the supply side, the industry is really getting behind FIDO2, phishing resistant MFA, pushing that out, and we're starting to see the adoption happen now. And we look forward to a great adoption successes this year as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, iOS 16.3, iPadOS 16.3, and macOS Ventura 13.2 are the first times that you can actually secure your iCloud account with a YubiKey. So just tell us a little bit about the story and about the journey to get here. Because we've already had, as we were spoken about previously, the fact that you could use your Yubico YubiKey to secure your Gmail account. So I've already been plugging my the Lightning attached version of the key into the bottom of my phone. Every time I get a new computer, and I plug it into the USB side, the same key. So people are well used to that. But this is now the actual iCloud account itself.
Yes. So look, this is all part of this journey, as you said, and way back, 2011, when Yubico really got going with the first YubiKey product with Google, and what was FIDO1, Fast Identity Online, invented this standard. So Yubico invented the FIDO protocol, and that has evolved, and the tech companies getting on board, as I said earlier, and coming together under this FIDO alliance to create this FIDO2 standard. So not just Yubico, not just Google, but the whole industry. So Microsoft, Apple, the identity players, and the whole tech industry seeing the need for strong phishing resistant authentication that is easy to use. The FIDO alliance has really come together, and now we're seeing the giants really get on board and promoting that to not just the enterprise type products, but now to consumer land as well.
Yeah. And one of the things with the standard is that you need to have two YubiKeys with iOS, iPadOS, and macOS. So take us through a bit of a demo.
Yeah, look, firstly, I think one of the things that we've talked about, and our big case studies such as Google and Amazon and others, making two security keys the standard, if you like, the default, because we have the same as your house key and your car key. You've always got a backup, and we think, and the industry thinks, that your digital identity is something pretty valuable and should be secured to that same level of security. So having two keys is a really good approach, and we're very pleased to see that setting up security keys on your Apple ID, one of the first things that you see is you need two. And I'm happy to sort of run a bit of a demo of how easy it is to set up now on the Apple ecosystem. And if you just bear with me, I'll try and set that up and show you how it looks on my screen. And as you wouldn't be surprised, but I've already set up security keys on here. Was one of the first to adopt that, and very excited personally to have that happening. So here we go. I'll just get the screen sharing so you can see what's going on my phone at the same time. That should load up, and you should see my phone screen.
There we go,
yeah. Which you can.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So there's probably a couple of things. If I could just go back to the front page, and we've all got, and this is my iPhone, and I've got an Apple ID. So if I go into my settings and then look at my Apple ID, you'll see a number of things there, including, second one down, password and security.
Yep.
So if I tap on that, you'll see as you see, I've already got two-factor authentication turned on. So the first time you do that, you turn it on, it'll then prompt you to set up your security keys. But you'll see that I've already done that. Under security keys, I've already got two. And I've given them names that make it easy for me to understand which one's which. So I've got two there. And you can see now that I can add a security key. So if you want, and if you're super nerdy like I am, and I work for Yubico, so I can add multiple keys. I can have a third one. So let me do that now, if that's all right. Sure. I'll show you how to add a security key. Yeah?
Yeah.
So I tip add a security key. Now it wants me to unlock my phone because is the right person. So I know my PIN to my phone, and I enter that. And now it's asking me to add the key. So here I've got my 5C NFC. It's on my Office keychain. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to do that. And because it's got NFC, I can just tap that to the back of the phone like you see there.
Yeah.
And hey presto. Now I've already set this key up with a PIN. So it's asking me now to insert the PIN to that key, not the PIN to the phone. Slightly different thing. And I make sure I get the right one. Type that in. Okay, good, well done. Now it's asking me to tap it again just to confirm that I'm actually the right person. And hey presto, it's done. That's it, it's been added. So I can now name that. It already knows which key it is. So it says YubiKey 5 series with NFC, but that's not very convenient for me. So I'm just going to call this my Office keychain. So I know which one it is. Office keychain, and I'm done. And you'll see that on the screen now, I've got 3 keys, including the one I just added called Office keychain. So that's it. That's how you add a security key.
And how many keys can you have in total?
I think it's 6 is the maximum that Apple will suggest that you have. So maximum of 6 per Apple ID is what I think it is.
Yeah.
I haven't tested it quite that far to see if you can actually add 7 or not.
Yeah. No, I've read that it's 6 as well. And it's one of those questions I knew the answer to, but I wanted you to be able to say it. But so if somebody wanted to, as with their Gmail account, could they have it so that you can only have the YubiKey as the second factor of authentication, or does Apple mandate that you need to have their automatic code that's generated that they send to other devices? I mean, what's Yubico's sort of best practices for keeping keys safe?
Yeah, so look, I think that there's 2 parts to that question, Alex. One is, should you use your security key for multi-factor authentication? And because phishing is the biggest cause of data breaches, our recommendation is go with the strongest form of authentication that you can, and that's a FIDO security key, or in this case, a Yubikey. So that would be your go-to. I wouldn't be wanting to do any other form of multi-factor authentication. What we say is any form of multi-factor authentication is better than none, but not all are created equal. So if you've got the opportunity to use the strongest form of authentication protection, which is a FIDO2 security key, you'd be mad not to. So then the second thing is, well, if I've got multiple keys, how do I manage that? And again, I'll come back to it. It's kind of as simple as your car key and your house key. So what do you do with the second car key? Either you give it to your wife or you stick it in a drawer. What do you do with the second house key? Well, you keep it in a drawer, or you keep it under the pot plant on the front doorstep. The same logic applies, not necessarily keeping your YubiKey under the pot plant, but you have your second or your backup key somewhere safe. So again, in my case, I've got my primary YubiKey on my keychain with my car key and my house key. As you can see here, I've got it on the my Office keychain as well. I happen to have a third one, and I'm not going to tell you where I keep that. So it's about protecting your digital identity, treating it the same way you treat other valuable assets, and having a backup somewhere that you know where it is, that you'll always be safe and protected.
So if you do lose the key, I mean, you're locked out of your account. That's how strong the security is.
Well, that's right. That's why you have to have a backup.
Yeah.
Now, in some cases, if you're really in trouble, then you can go through a very convoluted process to reprove your identity to get back in, which is why that no one wants to go through that inconvenience. So have a second key, or if you're really keen, have a third key as backups to make sure that digital identity is as safe as it can be.
Yeah, and of course the key by itself doesn't work if you don't have the username and the password. So I mean, it truly is a second factor authentication. You've got to have those other ones first. And I mean, that's
Correct.
how people have been used to that now for some years with the YubiKeys.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
So
And-
it's that
yeah.
second factor. Yeah.
And how resistant are they to water or shocks? I mean, I guess they'd be pretty rugged.
Well, from a YubiKey point of view, that's the way they've been designed. The manufacturing process is such that it's extremely robust. It complies with the various water and dust ingress standards. But in practical terms, what does that mean? It means it's been run over by a car and been able to keep working. It's been run over by a lawnmower and still works. In one case, it's been put through the washing machine, comes out still working. And in the most bizarre case, testing the design and strength of the design, is it was actually eaten by someone's dog. And not to get too gory, but it did come out the other side and it was still working again. So they are pretty indestructible devices.
And as we were sort of discussing before, it's good to have multiple backups, store them safely, and if something does go wrong, you'll be right in that regard.
Absolutely.
So is there anything else that we should know about Yubico in 2023, or is it all still a bit top secret because the rest of the year is yet to unfold?
No, it's nothing really. I think the real focus for us is going to be facilitating the adoption of this FIDO2 protocol to make strong phishing-resistant MFA as available as possible. That's the real strength and focus that Yubico will bring. The standard is robust. The industry players are behind it. It's now about facilitating that adoption. We've introduced some new services to target the large enterprises, our Yubi Enterprise subscription offering. That's going to be a focus for Yubico to address the corporate market. But we see with the support of this move from Apple, making it available to that consumer market as well is going to be a real strong push. So our message is adopt strong phishing-resistant MFA wherever you can.
And just finally, where can you get them as a consumer? Are they in your Officeworks and those sorts of places?
They're not in Officeworks, but we do have on our Yubico website, we have a list of resellers. Many of them have their own online stores. So we would encourage you to go to your online resellers who have them in stock in country in Australia. They have them quoted in Australian dollars and they can ship them out to you overnight. So we're making them as available as we can.
So widely available and have been for years.
Indeed.
Yeah.
They have been, and yes, it's getting more so. Our network of partners is really growing and we're very happy with that.
Well, that's great news. Well, Geoff Schomburgk, it's so great to see that Apple is now enabling consumers and obviously enterprises and businesses to really take this sort of security even more seriously, given all the incredible hack attacks we saw in 2022 with Optus and Medibank and all the rest. So thank you again. Best of luck for the rest of the year, and I hope to talk to you again soon.
Super, Alex. Thank you so much. Always a pleasure to talk.
Thank you. Bye-bye.